Welcome to the press conference for the winners of the 73rd Berlinale. We are going to welcome the guests in order of the ceremony. So we are starting with the Silver Bear for short film. Welcome to Matthew Thorne and Derek Lynch. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are any questions? Yes?
First of all, congratulations. I saw this film in January. They gave us the chance to see your short films. How was it for you to make this story? Because you start from Adelaide and then you go back home in the village and we see how the people treated you so kindly. So can you tell me really the poetry, also the music? Can you tell us about it?
Well, this was very important for me to tell the story, and for me personally, which Matthew will talk about the other half of the side of the story in a minute, but for me personally, to tell a story of my journey, and not only that, but wanting to share that story and encourage a lot of the young people back home and say, look, I left home, home will always be there, and I come back now, but you know, it's okay to go out and succeed and do what you dream of and what your ambition is, and that's what I did. And so it's very important for me. It was very important for me to meet, you know, when we met, was to tell the story of, you know, to encourage the younger generation. It's okay to leave home, but also to be strong in your identity in wherever you go, and to carry your culture and yourself strongly, and always remember where you come from.
Yes?
Hi, congratulations. It's Natalia Zhuk from Kyiv Moviegram. Very beautiful story, very moving. Could you tell a little bit about their like artistic parts? I mean, the lighting, the way you were shooting nature and city, the difference between shooting nature and city, all this stuff. Thank you.
I would say that something that I've learned definitely working with Derek and working in community is that the Australian landscape and the Australian land is incredibly powerful. Powerful in a way that perhaps we, as white people living on another culture's land, don't understand. And I think when we shot that film, we, above all, wanted to pay reverence and respect to the power of that land and the stories that live there, Derek's being one of them. So I think you're right. This land is a very central aspect of the story itself.
Thank you very much. This was the winner of Silver Bear for Best Short Film, Marunka Chalajunu. Sorry if I say it wrong.
No, perfect.
Perfect.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. What's in the camera?
This way. Thank you. So we're continuing with Big Golden Bear for Best Short Film. Please welcome the directors of Les Chenilles, Michel Kesawani and Noël Kesawani. Welcome. Please take a seat. Congratulations. French or Français? English or
we can
Français?
English. We're
English.
English. Yeah.
Is your joy tonight multiplied by 2?
Is our what?
Your joy?
By 4 because we are 2 and it's multiplied by 2. So we're very happy.
She's better in math.
Yes?
Hello, Natalia Zhuk, Moviegram Kyiv. Congratulations, it's a very beautiful and moving story. My question is a bit philosophical because it's a story about women made by women, and still it's like not mainstream, I would say. We still talk about the quota of women's stories, the importance of women's stories. Do you think there would be a moment when it would be just a story made by women, shot by women, but we would not have to sort of see it as something extraordinary in terms of it being made by women, but we would be just equally present and it would not be a problem and the quota and etc.
I think that women have been marginalized for such a long time that I don't mind for some things to be mainstream. What does mainstream mean? Does it mean that like the subject is filling up spaces in a certain way? I think we need time also to adjust in a certain way, to know how to tell stories in different angles. I think we should be softer maybe in how to address people who are trying to do stuff about various topics, including women, because the film is not only about women, it's about also integrating in a new place, it has other dimensions. So I think we just do what we feel like doing, and that's it. We try not to judge what's happening around us in a way. Thank you.
I would like to add also that we didn't wake up and say like we want to do a story about women, and we started by our own experiences, and we read a lot and we did a lot of research and talked to a lot of people, and our inspiration comes from a lot of places. And since it began with also our experience, we wanted it to be about 2 women.
Yes?
I always have to say, when I saw this film, I didn't see 2 women, I saw 2 human beings fighting to be what they wanted to be, with their parents, with their work, in Paris or Lyon, I don't remember exactly where, but I was amazed how the friendship becomes little by little, because before you hated yourselves. So can you tell me more about how you found this connection between you two, you know?
Yes.
That was the poetry in the film.
Yes, I think that it's important to say that, of course, we are sisters, and we directed together. I wrote and Noelle acted in the film. So what happened is that when we were like brainstorming what the story would be about, we met Masa Zahir, the actress, and the story was not written completely yet. What we did is, when I met her, I started constructing the character around what she have lived for real. And Noelle's character is based on what we also lived for real. So we merged them together, and half of the story was not scripted 100%. So when they're walking and talking, is notes that I took when Noelle and Masa really met, and they spoke. So they told me we spoke about this and about that and all that. And in the shoot, we triggered the same things. So it was an experience by itself, shooting the film. That's why you feel that it goes from a place to another, because we also, as a human, don't have one subject in our head and you only talk about it. You talk about your parents, you talk about your fears, you talk about many things. So that's it.
And can you talk about... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Can you talk about the editing? Because indeed the construction is quite sophisticated.
Yes, so the editor, Konstantin Bock, is a person we work with. It's been like a few years. We worked on several projects together. And it was very interesting to work with Konsti because he's open and he tolerates the fact that we are all collaborating together. And since we've been working together for years, we understand each other very fast. So what we were doing is brainstorming, setting intentions together, working a bit, Michel and I, him on his side, and then exchanging files. And it was such a collaborative work. And Konstantin like made all the editing big decisions, definitely because we also wanted him to have his space as an editor. So it was a very interesting like process, and we have been doing this for long, and we will keep on doing it with Konstantin.
Fantastic. Thank you. Many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Michelle, here?
Can you show us?
Yes, sure. This?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're going to continue with the GVFF Best First Feature Award, which comes with a prize of 50,000 euros funded by GVFF. Please welcome the directors of Adentro Mío Estoy Bailando, Leandro Cor et Paloma Schachman. Welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There are many good films eligible for this award, 19. This is surprising and surprisingly moving journey you take us on. That starts with a personal story and then includes work really of cultural preservation with highlights on the Yiddish language and klezmer music. Were you yourself surprised by this journey, through this journey?
Yes, definitely. We knew when we started the film that there was something deep into the klezmer music, that there was a story we wanted to tell. But it was not until the investigation for the film that we actually discovered what was the essence of what happened with Yiddish culture and in klezmer. And we really got cultivated by it along the time. And as much as we went on with the movie, we started finding more and more interesting things. And we got really into this vanishing culture and the necessity of communicating what it is for a culture to be alive or not to be. So it definitely was a journey for us as well to create this movie.
Yes, there was a question.
Hi, Natalia Zhuk, Moviegram Kyiv. First of all, thank you. It's a really beautiful movie and great topic. My question is about preserving culture, because I think it's very important for every culture, for us as well, for example, and for you. Do you think that it's possible actually to save, so to say, Yiddish and to still talk it, still dances like in 100, 200 years, if you do it like that with movies, with culture? Yeah, that's it.
Can I
Sorry, somebody was talking to me. Can you repeat?
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Can I answer in Spanish?
Of course, of course.
Okay.
Well, we don't believe that starting from a film we could somehow conserve an entire culture, or we could encompass the full concept of the culture in a single film. But we do believe that the film that we shot at least brings to the surface a topic. It puts it into the limelight, a question that concerns something that happened in the past, and I think most people also know. And what we want is to make sure that the viewer leaves the cinema hall with that same question: what happened to that culture? That is what we were trying to achieve with this film. There's a wonderful, very, very interesting story behind the disappearance of this story, but it could be linked to the Holocaust, but that's not all of it. It does not encompass all of it. It's also the story of a whole people leaving behind a fair share of their story and their history. And this is something that we were trying to highlight in our film.
Your film premiered in the Encounter section. To what extent did this presentation and exchange with the Berlinale audience prolong the journey?
Well, to a great extent. We were talking a couple of days ago that it's the feeling that we have created this film and suddenly it becomes to be alive, and the life it has begin to walk like alone, you know, like, and that we are the spectators of the life of the movie we created somehow. This premiere was definitely something that we wanted for a very long time and we dreamed about, but we didn't know if it was going to be possible. And for sure, to have the possibility of showing it to so many people was our greatest value for our film. We created it to show it, and suddenly we had the opportunity of having this huge audience for it. So it was wonderful, actually, to be in Encounters.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
You tell us. Shall I show it? Yeah.
So we are going to, We're going to do a little jump ahead to welcome the young performer who got best Silver Bear for best leading performance for the film 20,000 Species of Bees, Sofia Otero.
Si duermes con él, ten cuidado, no se te caiga la cabeza.
Thank you. Thank you. Puede sentarse.
Aquí igual, Sofía. No, Sofía no. ¿Le vas a
Es que necesita un micrófono.
Ah, aquí. Ponte aquí. Espera, pon esto.
So, Sophia. So just exceptionally, for Sophia, we are not going to take questions, but I'm going to allow you to hear her. Sophia, felicidades.
Congratulations. How do you feel now?
No, ya está.
Muy agradecida, muy contenta.
Well, I'm very, very happy and very grateful.
¿Qué fue un momento muy
What was
memorable del
the most memorable moment for you during the festival? Well, the very first day when we came, when there was a cocktail reception, I thought I really liked it. Would you say that with this film you have found another family? Yes, is the answer. Because we spend time together, all of the days, and all of the days of the shooting, we spent so much time together. So we became a family, yes. You know that one of the members of the jury who gave you the prize, Francine Meisler, is a casting leader, or head of casting, one of the most famous scouts in the world, and she is her task is to recognize the talent of actors. And I think that this makes this prize probably even more special to you and to those who have accompanied you throughout this adventure. And we all want to know if you want to continue to work as an actress in the future.
Son dos preguntas, ¿no?
Those are two questions,
Si
right?
quieres comentar,
Yes, of
en
course.
dos partes.
You can
Pues sí,
answer in two parts.
totalmente.
Yes, absolutely.
Le da como un valor importante al premio.
It really
Y luego la
confers
otra,
a
pues, me
special
gustaría
value to this prize. And when it comes to acting, I
Muy
want
buena
to dedicate
noticia.
my life to acting.
Gracias,
Yes.
Sofía. Sí.
Thank you, Sophia.
If you have questions for Estibalis, for the director, for Sofia, we don't take questions. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, so there is no exceptions. We cannot ask her anything. This is planned.
No,
Okay,
sorry.
no problem. You mentioned, Estibalis, I think in the press conference during the movie, something regarding to prepare the movie, all the talks with the families, a lot of families. Can you tell us how was for Sofia to get inside the skin of a child that is confused, not knowing what is happening? How was working with her, for her to get inside this role? Thank you.
Era importante para mí
It was very important for
castear a
me
una niña
to
y no,
cast
nunca
a girl,
pensamos en
and we
hacer
never
un
thought
casting a
about
un niño, porque
casting
para mí era mucho más
a boy,
sencillo
because for me it was much easier
comunicarme con
to
ella de
communicate
forma
with her,
que ella pudiera
in
entender,
the sense that
imagínate,
she
que el
could
resto del mundo nadie
understand
ve
something
que
and
eres una niña,
nobody
¿no?
else would actually
Era
see
mucho
that
más
she's a
fácil
girl.
para ella
So it was
poder
much
conectar con
easier
ese
for her
sentimiento y
to
luego,
connect with this kind of
también creo que
impression and feeling.
lamentablemente,
And in addition to that, I believe that,
siempre
unfortunately,
conocemos casos de
we
personas
all
que
know
son,
cases of people who
violentadas por
are,
distintas razones, ¿no? Bien
in a
porque-
certain way,
porque
also
no encajan
exploited for
por
certain
su
reasons,
clase social,
and
por
are
su
also
aspecto
victims
físico, y yo
because
creo que
they don't
Sofía
fit into
tampoco
this or
vive
that
al margen
category.
del mundo
And
y todos
Sophia, in a
comprendemos el
certain
dolor
way,
humano, ¿no? Y
also
Sofía lo que
is
tiene es mucha
living
capacidad
at the
y
on the
mucha
margins
sensibilidad para
of the
conectar
world
con
as
su
her
propio
character, and
mundo
she had a great
y el exterior,
capability
y
of
eso
embodying
me
this, and
facilitó muchísimo el trabajo.
this helped me a lot in my
Una
work because she
niña
is
muy
a
inteligente.
really, really intelligent girl.
Oh. Thank you for this film. This was one of my favorites, I told you this morning. And I don't make questions. I told you I don't make questions to babies or not because this is private. I talked with the father before. But I want to know from you, how was it to work with this? She's the youngest in the world. Tatum O'Neill won the Oscar, but she was already 12. She's the youngest actress in the world that won a prize. So can you tell us more about it?
More about, exactly about, yes. Pues fue un proceso largo.
Well, it was a
porque,
long process, really,
estuvimos muchos meses de
because
ensayos,
we
no
spent
solo
many months
yo
rehearsing,
individualmente con ella,
not just
trabajando las
individually
distintas
with her,
capas del
working
guión,
the
¿verdad?
various
Recuerdo como yo no
layers
quería
of the
darle el
script,
guión a ella
because I didn't want to
para que
give
no
her the
aprendiera
entire
nada de
script to her
memoria.
so that she would
Recuerdo que le
simply
iba
learn by
contando
rote. I
las
wanted for her
distintas capas
to
y ella las iba dibujando
discover
según que yo iba contando
the various
con
layers of the
post-its
script,
de
and I wanted
colores
for
que
her
íbamos-
to
con los que íbamos
draw
formando un
what
mapa,
I was
¿verdad?
telling
Como
her,
un
and in that sense we were setting up a
Cada
puzzle
día de
or a
trabajo
kind of a
individual
map.
con ella abordábamos
So
una
every
nueva
day we
capa
had
de-
this individual work with her, and we added a new layer of to the very diverse relations and relationships that the film establishes. And at the end, we had a gigantic puzzle of all kinds of colors, and this really gave her the confidence to understand the voyage of this character in the film.
explicándole lo que íbamos a rodar cada día, ella era
And
capaz
we explained to her what we were going to do every day and shoot every day, and she could find it within this map. It was wonderful. Then we also worked also in the company of the grandmother and the brothers and the family, because we really wanted to go beyond those limits in order to have that closeness also. And we wanted to tap into that confidence, that trust circle of the family.
There's no good performance without a good director. Congratulations to all of you. Let's take another picture more central, and then.
Igual se puede sacar una foto aquí y que nos podemos ir. Sujétalo. Aquí detrás de la...
Thank you. We continue with the encounter section and one of the two ex aequo special jury awards. We're starting with Samsara by Luis Patiño. Welcome, Lois. Congratulations. There's a question already.
Hi, it's Natalia from Ukrainian Movie Cram. Congratulations. It's one of my favorites in encounters. And the question is, how did you find courage to bring like so directly your vision, this atmosphere, this light? So it was quite a bold decision to try and take people into this world and not to, I don't know, adjust it to more palatable version. So thank you for that. And how did you manage?
You mean in the middle section or in the film to these different cultures?
In the film.
In the film. Yeah, I started the project. I was reflecting about the idea the invisible and how to reflect the invisible in cinema, and I thought about this idea of making a film, this crazy idea of making a film to see with the eyes closed, no? And then I was very interested in how the Buddhism represent the reincarnation and how they, this afterlife trip in the Bardo Todol book, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, how they describe it. No, so I thought it was a really nice link of mixing this idea of the eyes closed in this spectral trip, no? And then I wanted, it comes from the desire of celebrating the cultural diversity and to understand other cultures. And so the film is taking place the first time in Laos with Buddhist monks, teenagers Buddhist monks, and the third part, after the trip with the eyes closed, the third part is in Zanzibar, in a Muslim island. No? And it's also about this harmony of co-living different cultures and religions, no? Because also in Zanzibar is Muslim, but we have the Maasais. In Laos is Buddhist, but we have also the animist religion from the north of the... So it's this... I wanted to celebrate this idea, and it was a desire of listening the other, their dreams, their fears, and it comes from that.
What feedback did you get from the audience about this section of watching the film with eyes closed?
Well, until now, we are overwhelmed with the feedback that we are getting. No, it's a 15-minute trip with the eyes closed, where you see light through your eyelid, no, and literally you are in a reincarnation process, no. So the people that connects with the film, they're saying many beautiful things that I am saying to say, but something like, okay, I won't remember this experience in my whole life. I never feel something so strong in a cinema, because in that moment the theater changed into a collective meditative experience somehow, and it's nice. No? Imagine the whole room with the people with the eyes closed. No? I like to push the boundaries of cinema, no? And try to... cinema is a very young art, and there are so many things to discover, no? And I try to push it.
Yes, there was a...
Hello, my name is David Cuevas. I'm from Canada. I really, really loved your film. It was a transcendent trip of sorts, but it also really brought forward a really interesting perspective on a community that's not very well shown, I guess, in more international places around the world. I'm curious about your shooting method, because at moments it feels almost like a hybrid film, mixing documentary with narrative. And especially since you're shooting on film stock, very delicate material, I was wondering how the process was like to shoot these elongated sequences and long takes within the context of your narrative. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's in 60 millimeters, so it's not so easy to do the long shots, and I like a calm timing in the films. No? So, firstly, it was about living with them as an research, no, understanding the quotidianity. The first part is focused on this temple where 200 kids and teenager monks live and study. So I was staying with them for some days to understand them, to hear them, their fears, their dreams. And the second part, we focus on another community. I wanted a big cultural contrast. This is why I decided to go to Zanzibar. And as the first part is also very male, and because of the strict rules of the temple. The second part I wanted to be more feminine and woman, and we portrayed a community of women working with seaweed farms. And also they teach us how is all the process. We were staying with them, and mainly was that I think the most important thing. And then the process is this hybrid of observational documentary style and introducing with the natural actors, the real people living there, small fictions, micro-fictions. But I wanted to be very open to the reality and to the listening of the place.
Thank you, Lois. Congratulations on your award. Thank you. So we're going to continue with the other Special Jury Award of Encounters, this time by Paul Preciado, is Orlando, ma biographie politique. Quelques photos ici.
I'll get the photo. Let me just like.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll do the. Yes. Ready? In the middle. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You have a question already?
Perfect. Welcome, Paul. Congratulations. Just a mention of the fact that you not only won this Special Jury Award, but also a mention of the Documentary Jury Award and a few others from parallel juries. Congratulations. Yes, we have a question.
Yes, hello. Congratulations, by the way. You write books very successfully, and here you come with your documentary, and you already got 2 prizes yesterday night in the TETI Awards, and this one. What is the secret to do everything well?
Well, thank you so much for the question. Maybe explaining that this journalist comes from a place that is very close to the village where I was born, and maybe that's why he's thinking this way. Honestly, I was well known in my life for doing everything bad. This is the beginning of my life, not being exactly what people and society expecting me to be. So I was always the bad person. I'm a trans person. I define myself as non-binary, and so I never been good enough for anyone. And I think that that's exactly the point from which I write, the point of view from which I write, and the place from which I try to do this film with other people that maybe as well don't feel they are at the right place or they don't have the recognition that they deserve, right? So. Yeah, So I never felt that I did things well. And even this seems very strange to me, but yeah. Thank you anyway.
Yes, Natalia.
Hi, it's Natalia Zhuk from Kyiv Moviegram. Thank you for the movie and for being it so personal. You said during the award ceremony that it was the author who wrote your life before you was born, and I can really relate to that because I also have such authors. My question is, how early in your life you read this book, and how long have you been planning to make a movie on the book that influenced you so much? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I read this book when I was a teenager, like many other people at school. And at that time, I didn't know I was trans because I didn't know even that was a possibility that someone could live beyond the binary. And what is amazing is that the book made that reality possible for me. So before even becoming who I am, I started to think that that was possible because of that book. So that book was always founding to me and fundamental. And then, of course, if you know, I'm a writer. I decided to use writing as a medium, maybe because it's a different economy, the one that you're used to here at the cinema industry. It's not an industry philosophy, you know. It's just like you just need a pen and your mind, and that's it. You don't need anything else. Anyone can be a philosopher, but not anyone can make a film, right? So that's why I chosen philosophy. And then this came like I've been working with artists for like the last 10 years. So I've been like sometimes writing for artists, collaborating with them. I'm thinking that the medium of images was really important to me as well. I've always been working with an archive of images as a philosopher, doing history of the body, political history of sexuality. So I work with tons of images, but criticizing images and making new ones is a different thing. I never thought I would make new images, right? But then I really hate most of the films that have been done about trans people and non-binary people, because they mostly they are done from the point of view of the normative binary, and they represent trans people either as pathological beings or in the tradition of the horror movie, where basically the trans person is either the killer or is killed at the end, both one or the other, right? Or even both. Or otherwise is being consumed as an erotic object within pornography. And I knew that none of these ways of representing trans bodies were interested to me. So at a certain point, I started to be itchy about the possibility of making new images. And then Arte, the public television, came to me and they wanted to make a documentary about myself, about me, about my life. And I said, oh my God, how horrifying. And I'm 50, this means that I'm already almost done with my life. And I didn't want like a kind of a normative narrative to be used to do that film. And so I went to Arte to say, basically, I don't want to make this film. Or this film to be made about me. And then, as crazy as I am, I don't know why I said anyway what I said to you today. Anyway, like if you want to make a film about my life, then just make an adaptation of Orlando by Virginia Woolf. And they said, we love the idea, you have to make this film. And I ended up like, you know, when I was in my house, I realized that I had signed a contract to do an adaptation of Orlando by Virginia Woolf out of all you know, films or books that you can imagine. This is one of the most difficult to adapt. And so yeah, this is how I started doing that, like thinking it was impossible and starting again from failure, like this as the beginning of the process. And then, of course, like calling a casting and immediately like finding amazing, like 100 people came to that casting, and then choosing 25 people that ended up like playing Orlando. From age 8 to 75, and amazing. And then I was like, this was something completely different than writing books, because then I started to have like living experiences in front of me, and also like people like reappropriating Orlando, this book, in an amazing way. I thought, are they going to be able to play the role of Orlando, speaking like Virginia Woolf? And absolutely they were, and two of them are here with me today. Clara, who made the music of the film, and Elios Levy, who is one of the actors as well. Yeah, some others came the first day, but now they place this, and some of them they couldn't come either because they don't have passports, because that's the reality of people. They don't have papers, they don't have passports, they cannot cross boundaries, right? So that's also one of the claims of this film, is for representation to be changed, because we have been represented according to what I call a necropolitical gaze, like a gaze that is killing us. And we need to invent different ways of representing not just trans people, but everyone. I mean, non-binary people. I hope that you start like thinking about yourselves beyond these notions of heterosexuality, homosexuality, even male and female, that in a sense they're like clinical diagnoses, and that you just live your own lives as living beings, what you are, right? Beyond the binary.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Paul.
Thank you so much. Maybe I said it all, and I didn't, you know, whatever. I write books.
Sure
so
not. This is not the, the issue. Thank you very much. If you want to take another picture in the center. No, thank you.
Oh,
Do not forget your awards.
Especially
Yeah.
Yes.
This is your third prize, because this morning you won one.
Yes.
So this is the third one.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you said that you're not the director.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Don't forget your photos.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you.
We're continuing with encounters, and the Best Director Award. She also won the Berlinale Documentary Award. Please welcome Tatiana Hueso, Director of El Echo. Best Documentary Award, which comes with the prize of 40,000 euros, funded by RBB. Thank you. Please take a seat. Welcome. Congratulations. Yes, there's a question there.
Hello.
No.
Wow. Hello, my name is David Cuevas. I'm from Canada. I have a question about the sound design. It's been more than a week since I've seen your film, but your film has really stuck with me. It struck me with its emotional resonance, especially with its sound design. It reminded me a lot of binaural sound mixing. But what I find incredibly impressive about the film itself is that when it comes to documentaries, when it comes to shooting live on set, you can't predict things. Things are unpredictable when you're on set, and especially when mixing sound, image, and perfect harmony, it creates this cinematic language that's both musical and lyrical. So I'm wondering, how was the sound mixing process like for you on the production of your film? Thank you.
Gracias.
Yes, thank you.
Me alegra mucho poder empezar hablando del sonido.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about the sound. Why? Because sound to me is a very powerful element in film that really carries the emotions under the skin and can transmit so many different emotions. I believe that the sound of the echo is really 50% of the film itself. And working with Marilena Eskenazi, who is a very dear friend of mine, who I've been working with for more than 20 years, was really incredible. And it was a sensory travel that we did, and to the presence of this village, and to really immerse into the hearts and souls of the children. And the whole emotional landscape is part of the construction of the characters and the space itself. And I think in another lifetime I must have been a sound engineer myself, because I have such a pleasure and such an enthusiasm about sound and working with it. And I think that's the essence of film. It's image, sound, and time. And I believe that,
Ya me fui quería decir algo que me parece muy
well,
especial esta noche.
I went on a tangent here, but I wanted to stress something that I wanted to stress here. It is an evening where we celebrate the documentary film as a creative form of art, as a voyage that is vibrant, that can take us really to extremes, to really enjoy and also put ourselves into the shoes and under the skin of other people. And this is really a dream come true. And I think for any filmmaker to be able to show their film here is a dream come true. But given the fact that this documentary has also been premiered, is really a dream come true. And the Berlinale is one of the most important festivals in the world. And having thus paid homage to documentary films in that way that they have done it is really so special. Yes, Cultura Resuena. Congratulations, Tatiana. I remember that I came out of the film, and Claudia Tomaseri was there, and I was speaking to her then for 15 minutes, and I was so emotionally gripped by this film. What do you think is changing perhaps in the world of film, that the consideration and the appreciation of documentary is changing now? Because we had a documentary film that won the Golden Lion in Venice, and here we have another documentary that wins a prize, and we have the Golden Bear, obviously, that is also documentary. So what do you mean, does this mean for cinema in general, but in particular those two prizes, what does it mean for Mexican cinema? Well, I think this is a very beautiful and very powerful moment for this genre. The documentary as a film, as a cinematographic experience that can take you places, that can really grip you and make emotions also visible and come across. And I believe that, fortunately enough, we are in a time where these limits, these delineations between fictional films and or feature films and documentaries are becoming increasingly blurred because they're useless. I think at the end of the day, it's about film, it's about cinema, and it's about accompanying somebody in their journey, their dreams and their nightmares. And to add something also to this piece of reality, to be able to enter that, immerse oneself in that. And film is living, and in the documentary we are also in the act of living, just as when it comes to feature films. And when it comes to Mexican cinema, well, this prize for our art in Mexico is really impressive. It's so lively, it's so burgeoning in Mexico right now. So many different directors, both male and female, working in this and telling their stories. And there's a lot of work in here also about the maturity that we're going through. We are seeing that many films of a certain maturity are coming out in Mexico in our industry. And I think there's something that we've won there, we've acquired there, because there are many female directors who are making films in Mexico. And this is something that represents the result, the fruits of a years-long struggle. And this is the first moment, really, and I think it is a very special moment, a very special juncture in our film. And it is also a moment where Mexico is going through a very difficult time, where we have violence affecting all our lives, and film has taken charge of safeguarding that memory. And I think that both feature films and documentary, and they are conserving these memories so that in a future, hopefully not too far away, we can look back and say, hopefully this will never happen again. So I've been working for the past 15 years with difficult topics, with this wound that has been afflicting our country. this gaping wound that has been afflicting our country for so many years. And it's also important to talk about Mexico from another perspective, from the rearing of children, from the earth, from the incredible light and this incredible strength and dignity that exists in our rural peoples. And all of that is also part and parcel of Mexico. And it was very important to bring that to the silver screen.
Catalina Ineonea, Revista Cultural Conștiința de România, Tatiana, enhorabuena.
So, congratulations. I saw that you were very emotional during the ceremony, and you dedicated this prize to the female directors in Mexico. Do you believe that these prizes can also have the potential to change your life? Well, the awards help in order to make sure that our films are seen, so that there's a wider audience. And to have a child here at the Berlinale, to bring this child, this film to the Berlinale is something that really remains with us forever, and it is a privilege. Congratulations for this triumph.
¿Quiere tomar otra foto en el centro y después? Thank you. Thank you. Bravo. We're continuing with the award for Best Film of the Encounters competition. Please welcome the director of Here, Bas de Vos. Thank you. You can take a seat, Bas. Welcome. Congratulations. Yes, there's already a question. First of all, just reminder that Bas was in Generation with Violet, in Panorama with Head Hall. Is Berlin maybe your special place?
Totally. No, I think it's one of the kindest things that you can do to a filmmaker is to give somebody confidence and to say, like, repeatedly, like, we are following what you do, we are seeing what you do, and I feel, yeah, I feel privileged, and I feel humble to be invited for the third time. Yeah.
Yes, Natalia?
Hi, Natalia Zhuk from Kyiv Moviegram. I think you met my editor in the interview. So my question is about this story about soup, like preparing it from a product that are remaining in the fridge less and less. How did you come to this idea? And it's sort of like so natural, but so weird sometimes. I really liked it. And about the moss, people watching moss growing. Thank you.
That's a lot of ground to cover. That's the whole process of this film. But let me try to make it not too long. I think there were a whole lot of ideas that got me started on this film, and one idea was to tell a sort of, I didn't want to make a film about migration. I don't want to make a film necessarily about the violence of migration, because I also assume that it's somehow inherently there. I wanted to also make a film about the kindness of people and the kindness of the simplest act. And the simplest act I could imagine was to share food. And I just got this really silly idea of a fridge that I was cleaning out myself and thinking, oh my God, all these things we throw away. If I would only be a cook and be able to turn this into something. And so this magical act of gathering stuff that is waste or almost waste and turning it into something to share is I thought it was just a very beautiful image. And alongside with these thoughts on what makes us human. I was also thinking a lot about what is our connection to the land that we walk on, and how can we create an intimate relationship with the land we walk on? And I think it starts by attention. And something that attracted me very much in this world of the microscopic and of the moss is that it demands your attention. Moss is invisible until you've seen it, and once you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. All of a sudden you notice that it is everywhere. And I found this just such a beautiful thought. And then I started to read and learn much more about moss and going like, whoa, this plant has been there forever, and it has survived forever. And so we are just connected to it in this simple way, just through time. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, Catalina Neona, Romanian magazine Conștiința. Congratulations. Your film also stars the Romanian actor Teodor Corban, who unfortunately died 2 weeks ago. And this is known to be his last project. I was wondering, could you tell us a bit about this collaboration and just like take a moment to think of Teo Corban? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy you asked this question because it was a total privilege and an honor to have him with us. I know his work, and I got the chance to meet Radu Jude on stage. And of course, his films are also a way of me of getting to know Theodor. And yeah, he was only with us for 2 days, but he sat down and he was so permutable?
Permutable.
Like
adaptable?
Transparent,
Yeah.
almost. Like
Okay.
I don't know. He seemed to totally understand what I wanted. So I did 3 takes of this very long monologue that he has in the film, and I didn't know what else to do. I was like, I can ask him to do it again, but why? This was very beautiful, and so yeah, I just felt that I was in the presence of somebody who really understands what it is to act, because what it basically means is that you can be present in the moment, and that is absolutely a quality he had, and that I found very beautiful. And I got the news that he passed away when I was finishing the film, and I didn't really know very well how to respond. I was a bit like stunned, and it took me a while to say like, okay, but let's finish the film, and let's make it in memory of Theodor.
First of all, congratulations. When I saw the film, one thing came into my mind: how challenging it was for you to write the script, because it seems easy, but it's really difficult just to go and concentrate in this issue.
Yeah, it's a hard question to answer, but don't worry. I think like sometimes things come naturally, and I wrote a film before this one called Ghost Tropic, and I wrote it in 2 weeks, and the script was there, and I was like, yeah, let's do this, sort of. And here I felt like the thing had to grow, and it grew very organically. I wrote a scene, and then that scene took me somewhere else, and then I wrote a character, and that character took me somewhere else, and it just kept blooming. I think it's a good word, yeah. And there was just a moment that I felt like, to me, this is enough. Now I see value in the film, but I was very afraid that people might not recognize the value, because it is very fragile. And of course, there is no large narrative. There is an absolute absence of violence. There is almost an absence of conflict, which is something I think we too quickly connect to what a film should be. And I would just like to propose something else, a different kind of narrative, a narrative of connection and of sharing and collaboration.
Thank you, Bas. Enjoy the long way home, maybe back to Berlinale sometime soon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bas. Enjoy your award. We're going to continue with the competitions. The competition with the Silver Bear for Outstanding Artistic Contribution that went to Hélène Louvard for the film Disco Boy. Welcome. By Giacomo Abruzzese. Welcome, Giacomo. Merci. Thank you. If you want to take a seat, welcome to you too. Congratulations. Yes, a question in the center. But hold on a second because we're going to maybe need some translation. So there's earpieces for la traduction vers le français, si vous voulez. No? Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, hi, it's Natalia Zhuk from Moviegram Kyiv. Congratulations. I did feel when I saw the movie that it's gonna be a bear. I just didn't know which one. So congratulations on this one. My question is, I mean, it's quite generic, but could you tell a bit how you developed this concept, like visual concept, because it's stunning, it's beautiful, you notice it, it sort of distinguishes the movie out of other competition movies. So just how you developed the visual side of the movie, the way we saw it in the end.
So it's a question for both of them. Yeah. Et vous pouvez répondre en français comme vous.
And you can also answer in French if you want.
Alors, donc to tell you the truth, we worked a lot together before. We prepped a lot because it's spent a lot of time for Giacomo to shoot the film. So we met a few times, and in fact, in the film, there are a few parts, and it was, I will say, easy to try to define the different parts. It means, of course, when we are in Poland, we have to take care and to be more naturalistic. And when the main character arrives in Paris, we have to shift with another, with something else. And after, of course, when it starts to be more with the music or the light in the church, we had a strong concept with the color, and we defined and we spoke together. And in fact, there are few moments in the film, and everything was very clear with Giacomo, how we wanted to get this moment, and it was very precise. The color, the frame, the atmosphere, of course, when they go to the Niger, it's totally different, but it was very, very clear from the beginning what we wanted to reach. So after, you know, it's happened in front of you. It's mean we create everything, but in fact, of course, we had a lot of difference because the scenes are so different that we did not want to do the same. And I will say that the most complicated, it was to try to create in a church, the nightclub, with some color. Then we spoke which sort of color. It was orange or purple or red and green, but in the same time, never to be too much. And I will say that it was the most difficult things, not to be too much.
Yeah, and for example, for the discotheque, the idea was that you remember the thermic camera? The idea was to take the colors of the thermic camera and to bring into the disco. So because the movie has this kind of porosity where like the colors but also the elements circulate in the film. The structure is like a spiral, so there is this combination. The art of the film, it's the dancing and the thermical camera, and this art is actually emanating in the whole film. And as I was saying, Hélène, the challenge was through all this diversity of location, of faces, of decor, like location, how to give an unity at the end. Also a unity of style that go through all this. But this is yeah, something that we discuss, but for sure, I think if you have precise shot list and the work that you do on amount of reflection, then it comes. We don't like just to shoot only looking at the moment what's going on. There is a reflection of where we're going to put the camera that comes earlier. Then for sure you adapt always, because you don't have to be too
you don't have time, you are in the rush, you have to change all the time, but we have to say that we prep a lot. We did a very strong and long short list, and of course we had to change to make it really much simpler and everything, but in fact we knew what we wanted to get, and I think it's the most important things. And we can speak about collaboration, because of course you want to do everything, this and this and this and this. In fact, you cannot, because of the time, because of everything. But in fact, we knew exactly what we wanted to aim. And it's very important. Of course, we spoke a lot about the light, but not only the light, the frame. Why sometimes we are like this, why sometimes we are like that. We prep a lot.
Yeah, and with Hélène, what I like is really there are no borders. Like, we discuss of everything. We discuss a lot about image, because it's something I'm really involved, but we discuss a lot with Hélène about actors, about casting, about it's fully collaboration, and for me it's a pleasure to work in this way with some people of my team, in a way that we are really bringing not only your talent, but it's also a kind of way of generous attitude through the film, because the film is what it comes first, and then it's the way, it's how we can serve the best the film. And for sure, after a lot of discussion, what is this film about, and how it's gonna catch somehow the spectator through a journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a question from Brazil. My name is Rodrigo Fonseca from Estado de São Paulo. We're dealing, in the case of this film, with characters that have a strong internal violence. And you trust those characters to a wild beast like Franz Rogowski, who is a genius, but is a wild actor. I would like to understand how the camera reacts to this internal violence.
I cast Franz. He was like Hélène, attached to the project since years, because also actually I saw it in Victoria, in this German film, where he had a secondary role, but he has this kind of really very evident violence, but at the same time never going into the cliche and keeping this deepness in the eyes. No, he has a profundity, the character, which was very important in our film, because the character doesn't talk a lot, so you have to enter in contact with him through other ways, and this was something that with an actor like Franz, it's possible, because he has this kind of deepness in his eyes, in his attitude. You can really work with him like a sculpture, no? Because you can really, he's an actor that is an actor from here until the feet. So yeah, it was absolutely, like for Hélène, a kind of collaboration that really helps you to bring the movie more far.
Hélène, do you care to comment?
No, in fact, if we speak about France, it's somebody is totally into the subject, into the story, and I have to say that I am the same. We are not shooting because we are shooting. No, we are shooting for a reason, a subject, and with France is thinking about what he's doing, and I have to say that I try to do my best, and I'm thinking what I'm doing. And we have a director in common.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Grazie.
Prize for Best Outstanding Artistic Contribution. Thank you. Si vous voulez prendre une photo au centre. Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations again. Bravo, Hélène. We're going to continue with the Silver Bear for Best Screenplay, which went to Angela Schanelek for Music, which is indeed, if you want to take a photo here, which is indeed received by producer Kirill Krasovsky. Thank you. Kirill, if you want to take a seat. Thank you. So I understand from the message, sorry, the message you read on stage that Angela did not know yet that it was Best Screenplay, the award she was receiving. Does she know now, and has she commented on this choice of awarding the screenplay of Music?
Yeah, hello everybody. She doesn't feel well, and I told Berlinale that yeah, we have this kind of strange situation where she's supposed to be here, and we didn't know what kind of award the film will get, and yeah, she just sent me the message.
You haven't talked to her since, okay. Is there a question on the film? Yes?
Hello, Natalia Zhuk, Moviegram Kiev. My question is to you as a producer who read the screenplay, which now won a Bear. What moved you in it so that you wanted to do this project? So, like, you are also a judge of screenplay, actually, of screenplay, I mean.
First of all, I'm interested in directors we work with, and we met with Angela in 2019 for the first time to discuss her new project. And I read it was a treatment, it was not a script, so it was just a, let's say, extended outline first, what kind of characters that will appear in the story, and how they will develop, and it was aware that this story doesn't end in Greece, that it continues in Germany. So yeah, that were some crucial points, that we will have these time jumps, and of course, like knowing locations, knowing characters. Script has changed a few times, but it was just the, let's say, adjusting to some reality, to some concrete places where the story has been told, and yeah, but it was great. It was great to read it. It was very you know, intense. It was very interesting because it was so deep and so special somehow, and you know, the scenes were really short, or some of them were really short, and it was a great journey for me as a producer, of course, to, you know, to work on this project, because we spent a lot of time on financing. Yeah, it was not maybe the easiest one that you can do in Germany. We have many countries involved. The shooting was outside, it was in Greece, and we have French partners, we have Greek partners, we have Serbian partners. So, yeah.
It was great to hear you. Thank you so much. Please give Angela our best, and congratulations on the award. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Congrats again. We're going to continue with the Silver Bear for Best Supporting Performance for the film Till the End of the Night. Please welcome Thea Ehre. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Thea. Please take a seat. Welcome. Congratulations. Is there a question? Yes, please.
Hello. Can I say I'm happy? Yeah. How can I say it? Yeah, because I was sure when you said this is my first film, I said, oh, you need a prize. Tell me, how was it for you to hear your name? Because I don't want to talk about the movie. We already talked about it. How was it for you when you heard your name as a winner? What did you feel?
Well, the first moment I didn't feel anything really. I was almost shocked, but in a positive sense as well. And I'm still sort of coming to grips with it. Just still slightly levitating, but it's great.
Yeah, if you want to pass the microphone in the middle.
Hello and congratulations. We were like together talking that you should win it. My question is about the general debate about actors playing transgender characters, and if it's paramount to have this in your own experience in order to be able to portray it like 200%. And in your case, it's like a very, I think, great example that this debate has its ground, because the way you portrayed it is incredibly well. So what do you think about that? Is it like, did your experience help you? So any thoughts on this subject? Thank you.
Thank you. Gute Frage.
It's a good question, really.
Ich glaube, oder was mich am Schauspielen interessiert, ist
what interests me in acting is to find a level of candidness, to find the emotion to fill out the role. And in this case, I really fell in love with this character, Leni. And I had a wonderful team behind me, and I hadn't had any experiences previous to that, no larger characters, roles in that sense. And I had a wonderful coach, Johnny Hoff, an actor from Germany who really accompanied me throughout this voyage.
Yes, over there.
Congratulations. I really love the film a lot, and you were really wonderful. My question is, what would you personally want an audience to feel after watching this film? Like, what's a message, you would want people after watching this film, after they leave? What would you want them to feel like? And I also have a similar question, what was your process of stepping into this character? Did you find it very easy? Did you already know who this person was, as an actress? What was your process?
Thank you for the questions.
Well, regarding the first question, what I would hope for, what I wish for, what people might feel, I think that many people feel addressed by this film, as that they also think about how they deal with others. I would hope that there's more transparency for trans persons.
Dass sich Menschen auch dessen bewusst sind, dass
people become aware also
spezifisch viele Transfrauen auch
that
in prekären
specifically many trans women live in very precarious conditions and find themselves in situations that can be very toxic and transphobic.
Und dass sich Menschen da angesprochen fühlen.
And I hope that people then feel concerned. And when it comes to the question whether it was easy for me to play this character, yes and no. I have a great team, but I absolutely fell in love with this role from the very beginning, because we have a common characteristic, which is we're both fighters. And therefore it was a real pleasure, really, to play this role. and play this character. Thank you.
Thanks for your questions and congratulations again to Thea on the award. If you would like to take maybe one more photo in the center. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thanks very much. We're continuing with the Silver Bear for Best Director to Philippe Garrel for Le Grand Chariot.
Bonjour, ça va bien?
Thank you. Philippe, si vous voulez prendre place.
Philippe, if you could now take a seat.
Je vous en prie. Bienvenue.
Please,
et
welcome
félicitations.
and congratulations.
Je vais juste le redire une fois.
I'll repeat
Meilleur
this just
réalisateur.
once. The best director,
Philippe,
prize
qu'est-ce
for the best
que-
director. Philippe,
Pour le moment, ça va. Je
well,
parle en
actually,
français.
right now I'm still speaking French, so we should be good.
Mais ça tient jamais, ça tient jamais.
Well, that never holds. It's really
Déjà, il y a
difficult.
3 ans, c'était pareil.
3 years ago, same thing, and I had difficulties, and I got all
Je vais le tenir comme ça va.
fluxed with it. Okay.
En route, là.
Oui, très bien.
Ouais, j'entends, je vous entends. très
Yes,
bien.
I can hear you very well.
Voilà, on peut commencer, pardon.
Okay, let's get started. One more time.
Hello, Philippe. Great news and big congratulations. My question is, actually, I wanted to ask it on the press conference to the film. Now are in the position when you can choose what you make your movies about. And it's like quite a creative freedom. Could you tell a bit more, why did you decide to make this very movie now? So on this stage of your life and of your career, you said that it was very important for you to have your kids there, all 3 of them, how you was looking for the topic, but I think you did not tell about why now, why this film. Thank you.
Pourquoi maintenant?
Why
Parce que
now?
c'est
Well,
après que la dernière soit partie
because
de la maison.
after the last one left the house, really.
Quand Lena est partie de la
When
maison,
Lena left the
elle a
home,
joué à
our house,
Avignon.
she then went to act in Avignon, and when I saw her on stage, I said, "Wow, how did she learn how to do
Une
that?"
pièce américaine.
And it was an
Et,
American theater piece.
J'ai tout de suite
And
pensé, il faut que
I immediately
je
thought,
fasse un film avec les 3.
I need to
Et j'ai
shoot
fait
a
le
film
plus vite
with all
possible
3 of
avec
them,
les
and I'd done it as quickly as possible with all 3 of
D'une
them.
manière. Et alors, évidemment,
And
comme,
obviously,
les deux, Louis et Esther,
Louis and Esther,
je les ai eus avec une maman
I
et
had
Lena
them
avec
with
une autre maman.
one
Moi,
wife
c'était
and
très réconfortant,
Lena with the other one.
on
So
pourrait
for me,
dire,
it was actually quite
de faire une famille
quite comfortable
unie, d'une famille
position
qui
to
réunissait une demi-sœur.
kind of bring a family together where
En fait,
my
là, il y avait pas cette
sister
question-là.
and half brother would then
C'était
play the
apaisant,
other
on
roles.
pourrait dire.
So in this sense, it
Et
was
non, c'était un réel plaisir de
it was a true pleasure
Ils
actually.
ont fait beaucoup, le
And,
film est beaucoup d'eux en fait.
The film is
Et
really,
pourquoi maintenant?
to a great extent, their craft.
Que
And why
j'en ai
now?
plus que 2, 3 à faire.
Because I have
Ça
only
va,
perhaps
j'en ai
2 or
fait
3 films left. I've done
27,
what,
je crois, un truc comme ça.
27 films,
C'est pour ça, heureusement. que
something
j'ai
along those
attrapé ça,
lines.
parce que 27
That's why I'm so so
c'est plutôt,
pleased, really, because it's the
c'est
27th
la
film.
dernière chance.
So this is sort of
la
the
dernière chance.
last chance
Je vous
saloon.
remercie en tout cas.
Well, anyway, thank you very much.
Quelqu'un veut me dire quelque chose?
Somebody wants to ask a question? Yes.
Question here from Brazil. My name is Rodrigo Fonseca from the Estado de São Paulo. I would like you, if you could tell a few words about the use of colors in this film. We are accustomed to watch your amazing experiences in black and white. I want to understand how was this comeback to colors and the work with Renato Bertà to create the colors of the film.
Évidemment, c'est les marionnettes qui sont très colorées.
Obviously, it's puppets that are very colorful. When I told Renato Bertà that we would shoot in color, and it seemed quite natural to him, and then when we saw puppet shows, it became clear because we went to see these shows already long before we started shooting, and those puppets are very, very beautiful, and it became very clear that we would actually shoot in color. It wouldn't make sense to shoot black and white when it comes to those puppets. So how do we go about it? Well, it's I'm on celluloid, on film. I don't shoot digitally, and then we did copies, and then it is edited, and then I shoot actually in the exact order also of the final edit. So I don't actually do many takes at all. So it's very limited. The film was shot in 30 days, and it cost €2,250,000 in total. Well, that's a lot of money, obviously. Well, for a puppet film, really. But okay.
Hello, congratulations. This is the first time in Berlinale that 3 French films win the Silver Bear. So is the French cinema coming back as I love?
Ça, c'est quelque chose qui est très bien.
That is really excellent.
Ces chauvins français qui vont écrire.
It's excellent for the French chauvinists who will write that we are 3 French who won these prizes. But obviously, on the other hand, it is a huge opportunity because it's like a team. And they will talk about all 3 of us because it's much more of a subject, much more so than if we were only isolated prizes. So it's a real chance opportunity for us. So thank you very much, Philippe Garel. Best Director.
N'oubliez pas votre prix.
Don't forget your prize, please.
Merci pour votre travail.
So we're continuing with the Silver Bear for the jury prize Silver Bear for Malviver by João Canijo. Thanks for welcoming him. Welcome. Congratulations. Yes, with the microphone. So I'll get you in a moment. I just want to remind you that for this film that has a companion piece, which was showed in the Encounter section, you're truly a sort of orchestra director, evolving in a very rich landscape in terms of geography, human feelings. Did you have this whole landscape always clear in mind? Can you tell us about putting this together?
I'm a bit tired. I didn't got your question very well.
Sorry.
No, I understood, but I didn't understood the meaning of the question.
Okay.
If I was thinking about what the landscape of the woman.
How complex was it to keep the landscape of both films in terms of geography and people?
The film was very, very well prepared, and I had a great cinematographer, meaning photography director. So it was, and she was very attentive to that, and it was not complicated, no.
So it was a simple question in the end. What's going on? Yes. Yes.
Hi. Question from Brazil, Rodrigo Fonseca, o estado de São Paulo. João, parabéns. The question is, watching your movie, Malviver, I had the sensation I was watching an architecture of loneliness. Although we have many characters, it's a hotel, but I think that the main subject is how difficult people can deal with their loneliness and the anguish that surrounds it. I would like to share it with you to understand this existential regard of the film and this existential work that you try to bring it. O filme é muito bom.
Obrigado, viu? The first time that this question is asked like that, and of course you are right, and it was one of the ideas of the film. They are alone together, and they are always alone together, living in their little private hells, and each hell fighting with the little hell close together or next. And yes, it's loneliness, yes, because anxiety puts you in total loneliness. And the starting point was anxiety, the anxiety of being mother.
Yes?
Hello. As you told, how are you? As you told me, you were in the school of Oliveira. And how do you feel today with this silver bear? And how was it hard to work with so many women?
I feel overwhelmed with this little silver bear. It's a very precious little thing. And it's helping keep me alive. So...
And do you care to comment on the work with the women, many women?
It seems it works very well because the film got a little bear, and I'm very happy with the work. I was never happier with a shooting like on this one. And of course, the actresses are a little bit more complicated, but that's normal, and I'm used to it. Sometimes they harass me a little bit, but it's okay, and at the end, we are family. And also, as I said, I tried to say in the stage, because I was I didn't know really what I was saying. They gave me their life. They trust me, their lives.
Thank you. We're very happy for you. Congratulations, João.
Thank you.
It's fun. Enjoy the party. If you want to take another picture. Thank you. We continue with the Grand Jury Prize for Roter Himmel by Christian Petzold.
Superman.
Wunderbar.
Ach so, ja, so. Ich habe meine Fingernägel nicht jetzt rein.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks very much.
Hey, 1001 movie. I like it very much. Okay.
Congratulations, Christian.
Yeah.
Yes, a question in the first row.
Is this in German or in German? Ich kann in German. Yeah, okay.
As you want. German, yes.
Yeah. My English is
yeah, Deutsch.
Poor after 10 p.m. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We spoke 2 days ago about the Academy and the Berlinale and non-nomination, and here you won at the Berlinale. So this is an incredible story. It's metaphysical, really. What do you say about that? Is this actually a confirmation for you? I actually think that the Film Academy should actually set up a press conference and be asked about it. At the beginning, I was a bit hurt when I heard about it. It was on the same day that I heard that Simone Beer had died, and therefore the loss and the mourning about Simone Beer somehow covered the disappointment to live in a country where the Film Academy of the very own country does not think about awarding a prize to their own. But yes, at the end of the day, I enjoy this.
Hallo und herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Hello.
Es ist mein Dream come true, als ich den Film gesehen habe.
It is my dream come true. When I saw this film, it was my number one. It should absolutely win a Bear. So,
Nicht richtig. So, meine Frage ist,
despite all of that, not everything is right.
eure Filme gesehen.
I've seen many of your films over the years, and I love the magic that you work in your films. And in A Fire, it looks like all the best elements from the past films
Not repeated.
come together, but not repeated. They come together as a form of as a gem, with a multifaceted gem that is recognizable from the inside, but is still something new. So, how long did you work on it? How long did you think about it? How? Well, exactly 3 years ago, Paula Beer was sitting here and received, for her role in Undine, a silver bear. And shortly after that, we then traveled to Paris in order to accompany the screening of the film in France, and we were then infected with COVID there. And I believe that these 3 years in which societal life has changed, where I, to a large extent, couldn't even work due to illness, also postponement of projects. I think something changed with me. I simply lost interest in simply working on films with topics. When I was in the sick bed, I read a novel by Chekhov, Lysius, and it's 50-60 pages long. And it's about 2 young artists who withdraw to the countryside to work, and there are 2 young women in the farm next door. One of them is a communist, and the other one is too young to know exactly where she stands. And these 2 artists actually miss out on love, and that is really the tragedy of the book. And as it is with Chekhov, it is at the end of the day political as well. It is about communists. It is about the conditions also of serfdom during the Tsarist time. So I think a lot of this story, Misuse, actually channeled through into A Fire.
Hello, Mr. Petzold. Ich bin so zufrieden.
I'm so happy. I speak German today. Your film was really outstanding. Your actors. I can't even find the terms, whether in English or Italian or German. They were so spectacularly good.
The Golden Bear.
But I would have wished you the Golden Bear, just as my friend here from France said.
What is for this yet?
For you now,
Barbara, this Phoenix.
Since Barbara to Phoenix, it's always rising. Could you tell us how this story of all these people who are coming together, how that really affected you? When I began to make films after finalizing my studies at the German Film Academy, I thought, I looked around and I said, I live in a country that doesn't really have an industry. We don't have any studios, not even the shadow of a studio. Obviously, I had followed the work of Fassbinder and Wenders. They had actually started on their own, struck out on their own, with their own kind of partisan studios, with their own people. So that was my aim, to go down that path. And to a certain extent, I would say I managed to achieve that. I think that I have now a crew, a team. Sometimes I work with Franz Rogowski, Thomas Schubert, Paula Beer, and then Lisa Haus. Once again, will play certainly again. So I have a kind of a company with people who come together and they know exactly about each other already. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every time anew. And that is something that really fills me with happiness, really, because I can't obviously just provide them with sustenance with my own writing. They also have to work elsewhere. But when we come together, we are like a family. We're not a brutal family like The Sopranos, mind you, but we're actually attuned to each other. And I saw images from the earthquake region in Turkey, where these emergency teams coming from Turkey, Spain, and elsewhere, where they were landing in Adana at the airport, when they left the aircraft, they don't spend day and night together, but they can work together. They know exactly what to do. And this is my concept of filmmaking as well, that the respect is there, that the craft is there, the passion, but also the level of professionalism. And with this film, that was absolutely evident. The person who built the house, Hans Form, who then developed together with me the house and the perspectives that we needed to take, the door frames, windows. We needed actors that had an easygoing way with each other that sometimes bordered even on the limit of pain. It can become difficult for directors and actors alike, and even for those who like those cadres that existed in the communist regimes, and I read about that in Soviet books, and how they then would actually invent their own way of doing things, and I think that they sometimes invented things that were even better than was in the script. My team, thank you very much. Okay, that was it. So I need to move for the Golden Bear, right?
So the last award is indeed the Golden Bear. For Best Film, please welcome Nicolas Philibert, the director of Sur l'Adamant. Thank you. Nicolas, prenez place. Félicitations. Oui, et plutôt le micro.
Congratulations, yes.
Alors, is it on French? Oui.
Mark Karapetian, film magazine Spirit, A Smile in the Storm. I'm publisher. Oh, Mark Karapetian, film magazine Spirit, A Smile in the Storm. Congratulations to your award. At the award ceremony, you looked very, very surprised. You couldn't imagine that you win the award. It was really a big surprise for you. Had not any idea that this film will win? Yeah, my question.
I knew that the film would receive something because I was asked to push back my departure from Berlin. But I did not expect to be on the top of the podium, so to speak. And I have to admit that it still feels surreal and abstract to me. It happened so quickly. And I'm very, very proud, very happy, very moved and touched. And I have to admit that I haven't quite fully wrapped my head around it. This morning when tomorrow morning when I wake up and I'll see this little bear there in my room, I'll ask myself probably what it's doing there. It's obviously a great prize for the film and an acknowledgement, but I also believe it is more than that, also a recognition of documentary film art. My art, it's been a couple of years already that Berlinale has chosen to show in competition documentary films. That's not the case at every film festival, mind you. Yes, there have been Gianfranco Rosi, who had already received a Golden Bear, so that's a precedent. And I think this is a good thing. So slowly, with time, it will help all those people who make these kinds of films.
Okay, quick question. First, congratulations. I think that it's really important topic, and it's great that you got this award and the jury decided to give this award to you, because it's really worth sharing through the whole world. My question is, do you think how important it is to talk about destigmatization of psychiatric conditions, psychological conditions, of showing real people behind the diagnosis, of giving the face and the voice to people who, like 10 years ago, were considered as a danger to society, or very unreliable people to deal with, to work with, to live with, and now we change this perspective. We can talk to our bosses about our depressions and the pills we take and how many hours we slept. It didn't used to be like that even 5 years ago. So I think your movie would be like the next step in destigmatizing this. Yeah, thank you.
I hope that my film will contribute to destigmatization of patients, people who suffer from psychiatric problems, but that's not a foregone conclusion at all. Why? Because the media, the mainstream media and politicians continue. I mean, the cliches and stereotypes are very stubborn. And I think that what the film tries and attempts to do is to try to take that apart a bit and look really inside to psychiatry. But I do believe that there's a long way to go. My film is not an accusing film. There are films that are militant films that are very political in their stance and really are very upfront in denouncing things. My film is not a denouncing type of film. I think it is rather a film that proposes something, that proposes that things can be done without great means, sometimes with small details really, sometimes it's fruit on the market, it is a pencil on a paper. So what really counts is the human dimension. The relation, that is really the basis of everything in psychiatry, I believe. And maybe in a humble way, this film can also help to change certain perceptions and certain things. It is absolutely necessary because the condition of psychiatry in general is bad.
Mr. Philibert, question
from Brazil.
I would like to ask you about the amazing sound engineering of the film. How did you create the sound? And if you could allow me a second question, I would like to understand how the screenplay was developed. in terms of research? How much do you research and where to create the screenplay? Thank you very much.
I will answer your second question first. I do not engage in investigation, if you will, or research. The film itself is a form of research. You know, if I were to spend months and months engaged in research, that would mean that my film would become part and parcel of an intentional thrust, if you will. To do research would mean to say, well, this is what we have to show with the film. So my approach is completely diametrically opposed to that kind of thing. I'm not trying to demonstrate something and instruct and teach those poor viewers who know nothing about anything what the greater truth is. Not at all. What I'm trying to do is to discover in a humble way things, starting with people, really. My camera allows me to approach the other people in other situations, to see what takes place here and there, and to try to understand a bit better, perhaps, the kind of world we find ourselves in. And research in that sense, investigative approaches would create a kind of rut, and I don't want that. I want to be able to improvise a bit. I want to start with the relations that can emerge on a day-by-day basis, and within the context of the shooting. And I very often say that before I get into a project, the less I know, the better. If I know too much, I don't even want to make the film anymore. Why? Because I actually shoot the film in order to learn. If I were to try to go about it in a different way, if I know too much about it, that doesn't work. So something is also true. To make a film, you need to be able to write a text, you need to be able to convince producers, so you need to be able to explain well what the film is about. So in a certain way, I have to do a minimum of research, obviously, so that I am in a position to talk about the project itself, even if it's only 12 pages that enshrine it. But to know too much about it, to me, that is a limit that I do not cross, a threshold that I do not cross. And the sound, the first question, well, what can I say about that? It's a very difficult place for sound. Why? Because the Adamant is a place where people move around and there's all kind of interfering sounds and noises. Why? Because the place itself is surrounded by restaurant boats. They have PAs and they have music that sometimes is very, very loud. Sometimes we had to race over to the other restaurant to tell them to turn down the volume a bit so that we could shoot. And sometimes when you're within this kind of a collection of people, if you will, you have to deal with what you have. And there were plenty of bleeding sounds there. There were people on the Adamant that were listening to the radio, those who were running the bar, and you had to go there and tell them, well, could you please switch off the radio for 10 minutes because I want to shoot here. And sometimes you bother people, really, with that kind of request. And I was fortunate enough that I was able to shoot with a group of people who were extremely welcoming, extremely tolerant, and then sometimes they switched off the radio or the stereo because I asked them to, so that worked out really well. Yes, good evening. This is a question from Japan. So, congratulations. Bravo. It's a great prize and absolutely deserved. And my question now is, on stage earlier, you read out, or you thanked your co-producer from Japan, Mr. Hatano. Could you perhaps speak a bit more about this cooperation that, at least from where I stand, looks like a long-standing friendship between France and Japan? answer. Yes, Mr. Natano. Well, we started working together on a film that's called Être et avoir, to be and to have. And he actually acquired the distribution rights of the film, and then he continued to distribute the following films, and he actually also then purchased the rights to the previous films. And now he is not only just a distributor, but also co-producer. And I have to say, and I am really profoundly touched by his loyalty. I mean, he's been accompanying me one film after the other. And this is somebody who's 10,000 miles away from where I live, from a completely different culture. So film after film, he's there by my side, supports me, and to me this is a beauty in itself. Nicolas, you said that you were actually going to show this film to the protagonists, and will this prize change the way you show it to them? I'm not sure, but obviously I cannot just forgo the prize or the existence of this prize, just ignore it. But, you know, one day I was at Cannes. It was the evening of the awarding of the Palmarès, and I was there with a group of friends debating, and we had a large dinner, and we had the prize, the award-giving ceremony. And then I saw somebody coming towards me, and I saw that he was holding something in his hand, and as he drew closer, I could see that he had the Palme d'Or, the Golden Palm of Cannes. Mr. Abbas, Mahmoud Abbas, who had just received it for his film The Cherry. He was alone, I think it was The Cherry, he was alone, all alone with this prize. This man, who in his thoughts, and I accosted him, spoke a bit with him. We changed a couple of words. So it's really so moving, this contrast between the glamour of the Palmarès, the grand gala dinner, and then to find yourself in your hotel room alone with this object, which is a forceful return to reality, if you will. So yes, I'm over the moon, really, elated to have received this prize, very honored. But now comes the turn of reality, meaning the patients of the adamant, who are very touching, very endearing, and very fragile people. So it's also perhaps necessary not to impress upon them too much this great occasion. Keep it simple. Well, we will see what happens tomorrow, but thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for coming. And congratulations. Yes, we will have a photo op also with the producers of the film, Milena Couteau, Linda de Zitter, and Melina Poilo.
Sur le côté ou je m'éloigne. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.